And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. Live picture there at the White House. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks for being with us. Let's keep it moving with more of these top headlines, including those on the subject of illegal immigration. Our next one takes us to Baltimore. Earlier today, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You remember that name? You recognize it. It's been one of the stories we have followed throughout the course of the year. Well, remember, his case has become a flashpoint in President Trump's aggressive effort to remove non-citizens from the United States. Well, he was today detained by immigration authorities in Baltimore to face renewed efforts to deport him after that brief period of freedom. Remember, he was released from detention just on Friday. He showed up for an ICE hearing today, a status check-in, so to speak, and he was detained by authorities yet again, pending deportation. Now, in the meantime, Fox News' Connor Hansen has more on his plight. Let's watch.
A large crowd gathered outside ICE offices in Baltimore, where Kilmar Abrego Garcia was arrested again.
God will bring justice to all the injustice we are suffering.
ICE now wants to send the El Salvadoran national to Uganda, but a judge temporarily blocked the agency from deporting him.
It's a tremendous yo-yo of emotions for them. I mean, to have him back after so many months, after being so worried, going from not even knowing whether he's dead or alive to having him back and then to have him ripped away so cruelly and so quickly.
Abrego Garcia found himself at the center of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown after he was deported to El Salvador. He was in the U.S. illegally, but a court ruled years ago that he could not be returned to his home country because of fears of gang violence. But the White House insists he is a member of the violent MS-13 gang. Since returning to the U.S., he's been charged with human smuggling in Tennessee, stemming from a 2022 traffic stop.
He will no longer terrorize our country. The guy needs to be in prison. He doesn't need to be on the streets like all these liberals want him to be.
After he was released from jail Friday before his trial, Abrego Garcia spent the weekend with his family in Maryland. Kilmar Abrego Garcia turned down a government deal that would have had him deported to Costa Rica in exchange for pleading guilty to those human smuggling charges. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Connor, thanks so much. Andrew Kraft back here, out live there to the White House, continuing our coverage of this case. We do want to bring into the conversation right now James Rogers with America First Legal. He's been following this extremely closely, and he joins me. James, thanks so much for being with us here. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, it's been said, could be deported to either Costa Rica or Uganda, possibly. He's from El Salvador. Why not his country of origin? What is the point of sending him to a country he does not know?
Well, when he entered the United States illegally in 2011, after that, he made a claim for asylum in El Salvador, and his asylum claim was denied. It was found that he didn't have a valid claim to asylum, and the judge ordered him deportable. But the judge in 2019 ordered that he could not be removed to El Salvador because he said his life or freedom may be threatened. But that order did allow for him to be deported to a third country. So that's why he can be sent to a third country such as Uganda or Costa Rica.
So, James, I have to ask as well, I mean, he was released from detention just on Friday. He shows up for a status hearing in immigration court today, and then he's swiftly detained. What's going on there? What are his legal rights right now?
Well, his deportation to Uganda, his detention this morning was not a surprise to him. The judge's order in this case in Maryland, in July, she ordered that he had to have 72 hours notice of whatever third country he might be removed to. And so DHS informed his lawyers on Friday that Uganda was the country they were going to send him to. So this was something that was not unexpected. And he's been detained. And what happened is the judge, Judge Zinnis in Maryland, this federal judge, she ordered that he could not be removed until she set up a schedule. His lawyers filed a new case today, arguing that he should not be deported to Uganda. And so she'll set up a briefing schedule, and the case will move forward from there. Presumably he'll be detained pending any decision by the judge about what to do.
So the DOJ brought a suit against him. If he's deported to Uganda, say, they won't be able to prosecute that case. What happens to those charges?
That's a good question. I suspect they may pursue the charges against him in Tennessee. He's been charged in Tennessee for human smuggling. They have evidence that he, for years, was helping to smuggle potentially thousands of aliens. They could keep him detained pending that case and then deport him, or they could deport him and drop the charges potentially. They did offer him a plea deal, as was mentioned, that he could have been deported to Costa Rica had he pled guilty. And once they informed him that Uganda was the country they were going to send him to, all of a sudden, he's now asking to be sent to Costa Rica. That was what his lawyers filed on Saturday, was a plea to send him to Costa Rica instead.
So kind of just the 30,000-foot view of this story. I mean, he's become a stand-in as an example or a symbol of President Trump's, crackdown on illegal immigration. Why do you think that is? Why this specific case?
Well, it is a bit puzzling. He's not a very sympathetic figure. Like I said, there's strong evidence. He has been involved in human smuggling for years. Maryland police in 2019 found credible evidence that he was a member of the vicious gang MS-13. His wife filed a domestic violence order against him for committing domestic violence against her. But the problem is the left, there's no illegal immigrant. They want all illegal immigrants to remain in the country. And so every one of them is a cause célèbre for them. And he happens to be one that they can rally around because the government did manage to catch him and send him away. And because of all the court wrangling, he was forced to come back. So because there's notoriety about him, they've kind of coalesced around him. But it's important to remember, under the Biden administration, the United States suffered the largest migratory event in human history. More people entered the United States than have ever entered any other country ever in history. And President Trump's absolutely doing the right thing to get a handle on this and remove these people who shouldn't be here in the first place.
Did the government do everything by the book? Do you think they made any mistakes in the Abrego Garcia case?
There's lots of I's to dot and T's to cross. I've seen no violations that would justify the intervention that the judge has taken. I think they've done things by the book and they've done things correctly.
All right, James Rogers, we'll leave it at that. Good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Andrew.